A mother picks up her son from school. 3 days later, she's found dead. And her son? Vanished. No trace. No leads. Just a single message. You'll never find him. Case file: Timothy and the Road Without Return. Chapter 1: The Beginning of a Disappearance. On the morning of May 11th, 2011, surveillance footage captured Amy Pitzen walking into Greenman Elementary School. She wasn't expected, nor was she scheduled to pick up her 6-year-old son, Timothy. With a pale expression and gentle yet firm tone, she said, "There's a family emergency. I need to take him now." Timothy, bright-eyed and full of wonder, thought this was just a surprise day off. But for detectives, this moment marked the final time anyone, except his mother, would ever see him again. The question still stands: why that day? Chapter 2: The Sweet Trip, the Dark Design. Thanks to receipts, highway cameras, and Amy's GPS logs, investigators reconstructed the strange 3-day journey. Day 1: a trip to Brookfield Zoo. Day 2: overnight at Key Lime Cove Water Park Resort. Day 3: wandering through shops before heading to Rockford. Amy called home several times. She sounded upbeat, almost suspiciously cheerful, but she never allowed Timothy to speak. When asked, she replied lightly, "He's playing." Oddly, hotel cameras revealed Amy was alone during parts of the trip. Booking rooms without her son. One receipt would puzzle investigators for years. Duct tape, plastic sheeting, box cutter, rope. Not your average vacation supply list. Chapter 3: Death and the Message of Finality. On May 14th, Amy checked into a budget motel in Rockford. The footage confirmed she arrived alone. The next morning, a maid found Amy's body. Her wrists were slashed. Nearby lay a note: "Timothy is safe. You will never find him." No signs of struggle, no signs of Timothy. But in the car, forensic teams discovered dried blood, later confirmed to be Timothy's. 2 paths opened for the detectives. Had Amy handed her son to someone she trusted? Or was this a tragic cover-up of something much darker? No one knew for sure. Chapter 4: The Network and the Whispers. Over the years, rumors spread like wildfire online. Forums and fringe groups speculated wildly. A secluded community in Montana, a hidden religious group in Utah, an anonymous tip: "I saw him. He doesn't remember who he is." The FBI noted a chilling pattern: no body, no digital trail, no credit activity, no confirmed sightings, no suspects. The case remains one of the rare disappearances that went entirely cold within 72 hours. 1 theory still haunts agents. Amy didn't kill her son. She erased him from the world. Chapter 5: The Imposter and the Shattering of Hope. In 2019, a man wandered into a police station in Kentucky. He said, "I'm Timmothy Pitzen. I escaped." Media went into a frenzy. Hope surged through the Pitzen family. DNA was taken, but within 48 hours, that hope was shattered. The man was Brian Reaney, a troubled 23-year-old with a history of mental illness and deception. He had fabricated the identity to escape his own life. The weight of false hope crushed the family once again. Some officers admitted, off the record, it was the cruelest twist they'd ever seen. Chapter 6: The Eternal Mystery and the Boy in the Mirror. 13 years have passed. The FBI still lists Timothy as missing, and Kmek regularly updates his age-progressed portraits. But every image feels more like a question than an answer. No remains. No crime scene. No closure, some detectives believe. He may be alive, living under a different name, in a remote cabin, homeschooled, off-grid, disconnected from everything he once knew. Maybe he looks in the mirror, said one agent, and wonders why nothing feels right. Because he is Timmothy Pitzen, and the world is still searching for him. Sources: FBI case records, The Sun, UK, New York Post, 2024, law enforcement interviews. Sealed file: the SWAT-suited figure in the house of God. She entered the church at dawn, believing it was the safest place. But the killer was already inside, dressed in SWAT gear, faceless, weaponless, until the hammer appeared. A cold, calculated murder with no trace, no clear motive, just grainy footage and a strange, staggering gait. Who killed Missy Beavers, and why, inside the house of God? Chapter 1: The Night Before the Storm. In the early hours of April 18, 2016, the town of Midlothian, Texas, was still wrapped in a cold morning mist. At 4:18 a.m., Terry Missy Beavers, a 45-year-old fitness instructor, pulled into the parking lot of Creekside Church of Christ. She had a routine: get there early, set up equipment, and welcome students for their workout class before dawn. But within the sacred walls of that church, someone had already been waiting that a lead investigator would later say she walked into. A place she believed was safe. But her killer got there first, almost an hour ahead. Chapter 2: The Shadow in the Church. At 3:50 a.m., surveillance cameras recorded a figure moving through the dark corridors of the church. The person wore a full SWAT-style outfit: ballistic vest, helmet, gloves, tactical clothing. Face completely obscured. No obvious weapon. No clear agenda. Only a disturbing calm. The figure moved through the building slowly, deliberately. They opened doors, tapped on walls, stood still in certain rooms for minutes at a time. Not searching, not stealing, just waiting. The gait was especially haunting, slightly limping or swaying. Almost like someone intentionally walking wrong to mask their identity. Chapter 3: Silence Before the Scream. At 4:20 a.m., just as Missy entered the building, the cameras cut out. No footage captured the attack. By 5 a.m., students arrived for class. They found the doors ajar, and inside, Missy's body lying on the floor of the main hall. Blood pooled. Around her, she had been struck multiple times. Near her body lay the murder weapon, a hammer or something similar, brutal and silent, and no signs of robbery. No signs of struggle, just a single, targeted killing. Chapter 4: The Faceless Intruder. Investigators pored over the footage. The suspect never revealed their face. The SWAT gear wasn't standard. It looked like a disguise, possibly homemade. Nothing was stolen. Missy's phone, purse, iPad, untouched. Police quickly dismissed. The robbery gone wrong theory, the strange, mechanical pacing, the knocking on walls. It resembled ritual more than burglary. Some detectives speculated the killer might be a woman, based on height and movement. Others believed it was someone staging the scene, trying to appear non-threatening, until the moment of violence. But most agreed on one thing. The killer knew Missy would be there, and they had planned it all along. Chapter 5. Messages from the Dark. Missy was respected in her community, loved by students, and devoted to her family. But behind closed doors, things were complicated. She had recently confided in friends that she'd received unsettling messages on LinkedIn from a man she didn't know. The tone was flirtatious, then threatening. She felt watched, but she never learned who it was. Her husband, Brandon, was ruled out. He was on a fishing trip several hours away, backed by GPS data and witness statements. However, some online sleuths noted that a male relative of Brandon's had a similar gait to the person in the footage. That clue led nowhere, but the unease remained. Chapter 6. A Murder in God's House. The brutality of the act and the location shook Midlothian to its core. A sacred space invaded. A woman murdered with military precision. A killer who vanished without a trace. Some investigators believe it was personal. Others think it was obsession, fixated on Missy's presence, confidence, or visibility. And one theory lingers among veteran detectives. He entered that church like a worshiper, but left it like a ghost. Years later, the case remains unsolved, and somewhere, the killer may still be watching. Confirmed sources. Midlothian Police Department reports. CBS Texas /NBC DFW /Fox 4 coverage. Surveillance video and interviews. 2016 to 2024. A young woman enters a church to pray after a minor argument with her husband. By morning, her body is found in a ritualistic pose. 3 candles, an open Bible, and a silent message written in invisible blood. No one knew what really happened until 44 years later, when the prime suspect shot himself before arrest. This wasn't just murder. This was a ritual. Cold Case. The Final Rite in the House of God. Chapter 1. The Young Wife and the Church Door. On the evening of October 12, 1974, Stanford University, renowned for its elite education, was cloaked in a tranquil atmosphere. But in a quiet corner of the campus, a story began to unfold, one no one knew would never have an ending. Arlis Perry, 19, recently married, had moved from North Dakota to California to live with her husband, student Bruce Perry. That night, they had a minor argument in their dorm room. Arlis, devout and deeply faithful, said she wanted to go out to pray and clear her mind. She left the room at 11 p.m., disappearing into the night toward the Stanford Memorial Church, the grand sanctuary at the heart of the campus. She never returned. Chapter 2. When Dawn Brought Death. At 5:45 a.m. the next morning, security guard Stephen Crawford unlocked the church after noticing it had been secured from the inside, against regulation. As he stepped in, walking past the long rows of dark wooden pews, he suddenly stopped at. The altered Arlis's body lay on the cold stone floor. She was fully clothed but had been strangled with a soft ligature. Her head had suffered blunt trauma. Her legs were spread, each side pierced with a long altar candle. A third candle had been placed between her thighs. An open Bible lay on her chest. Everything had been arranged with unsettling deliberation. Crawford called the police. Chapter 3. Details that couldn't be ignored. Investigators quickly realized this was no ordinary assault. There were no signs of forced entry, no broken windows, nothing stolen. Blood was not spattered wildly. It was controlled, deliberate, ritualistic rather than impulsive, some detectives even admitted. This wasn't just murder. This was a performance. Someone wanted us to see this in a certain way. The suspect list began with the last person to see Arlis alive, her husband Bruce, but he was quickly ruled out by the evidence. Attention then shifted to the man who discovered the body, Stephen Crawford. Chapter 4. A phantom named Sacrifice. Though there was no direct evidence tying Crawford to the murder at the time, his background began to draw suspicion. He had once been a police officer, dismissed for misconduct. He frequently wandered the campus alone. There were witness statements, claiming he often entered the church at night without permission. Yet, for decades, no physical evidence linked him to Arlis's death. Meanwhile, theories abounded. Arlis was punished for resisting a cult. The ritual mimicked a sodomitic punishment described in heretical texts. Some elements of the crime mirrored descriptions found in satanic ritual documents, which the FBI was secretly monitoring during that era. Chapter 5. DNA and Death, 44 years later. In 2018, forensic science brought a breakthrough. Semen found inside Arlis was reanalyzed using modern DNA technology and matched to Stephen Crawford. Police planned his arrest, but when they arrived at his home, Crawford fatally shot himself in front of the agents. Legally, the case was closed, but the motive remained an enigma. Why did he do it inside a church? Did someone help stage the scene? And if it was driven by lust, why the ritual? Chapter 6. Echoes within an ancient wall. Today, Stanford Memorial Church still hosts religious and cultural ceremonies. But something has changed. Some students report a burnt candle smell late at night. Others claim to hear slow footsteps echoing between the empty pews. N01 says Arlis's name aloud. But everyone knows her death wasn't just a death. It was a message, but to whom? No one's ever been able to figure out. Anonymous former detective. Verified sources. Palo Alto Police Department case file, 1974 to 2018. DNA matching report, 2018. NBC Bay Area, CBS News. Interviews in the Ultimate Evil, Maury Terry. Open case. The man who ran into nothingness. He wasn't injured. He wasn't being chased. No one was behind him. So why did Lars Mittank flee the airport like death itself was inches from his back? He tossed his luggage, his passport, and vanished into the woods, swallowed by the world. In just 60 seconds, nearly a decade later, the question still haunts us. Was Lars running from someone or from something inside himself? Chapter 1: The Blue Sea and the Darkness Within. June 2014. The coast of Varna, Bulgaria, buzzed with European tourists. Among them was 28-year-old Lars Joachim Mittank from Itzehoe, northern Germany. He was an electrical engineer with a stable job, no criminal record, and no known psychological issues, according to both medical files and friends. They described him as friendly yet reserved, someone who thought before acting. This trip was a chance to relax after months of work stress. Along with his friends, Lars rented a hotel near the beach. They ate, watched the World Cup, and soaked in the sun. Everything seemed perfectly normal until it wasn't. Chapter 2: A Confrontation with Strangers. One night at a local bar, while watching football, Lars got into an argument with a few other German fans, supporters of the opposing team. The disagreement escalated into a scuffle. The next day, Lars felt a sharp pain in his left ear. A local doctor diagnosed a ruptured eardrum and advised that he not fly. His friends offered to cancel the return flight, but Lars refused. He said he'd stay one extra night and fly back later. From that point, Lars was alone. Chapter 3: The Lodging of Fear. Lars checked into the Color Varna guest house, isolated from the main tourist area. Cheap, quiet, with sparse surveillance, mostly used by local laborers. The innkeeper reported that Lars began behaving strangely. He didn't sleep and paced the halls for hours at night. He flinched at sounds and constantly checked the door. He claimed someone was following him. Once, he hid behind a refrigerator in the kitchen, whispering, "Don't let them see me." He also made a call to his mother, recorded, and said, "Mom, I'm scared. Someone's after me. I don't know who they are." His mother later recalled, his voice was trembling. "I'd never heard him like that before." Chapter 4: A Chilling Encounter at Varna Airport. On July 8th, Lars arrived at Varna Airport. He went to the airport medical office for a flight clearance certificate. While the doctor was examining his ear, a man in uniform, likely security or maintenance staff, entered the room. Lars immediately changed expression, stood up, and whispered, "I don't want to die here." Then he bolted. Airport surveillance captured everything. Lars abandoned his luggage, passport, and documents, ran out the front doors, leapt over a metal fence, and disappeared into the woods behind the airport. Police note: he was running at full speed, physically alert, not hesitating for even a second. That was the last confirmed sighting of Lars Mittank. Chapter 5: Psychosis, or Someone You Can't See. The official investigation explored three main theories: acute psychosis, possibly triggered by ear trauma, psychological stress, or side effects of the antibiotic cefuroxime, known in rare cases to cause psychotic episodes. Real pursuit: perhaps Lars was truly being followed by traffickers, organ smugglers, or criminal networks. A theory both terrifying and plausible: voluntary disappearance. But Lars left no signs of premeditation. No cash, no gear. It didn't fit the pattern of someone planning to vanish. The strangest fact: Lars never appeared again in any health, financial, or government system. not even on passport scans or ATMs. He vanished completely from reality. Chapter 6: A decade-long escape. Lars's mother never gave up. She launched a global search campaign, offered large rewards, and worked with international authorities. Every year, dozens of reports came in. Sightings of someone resembling Lars in Canada, Belgium, Ukraine, Romania, but none matched his DNA. Some experts proposed other ideas. Perhaps Lars suffered a minor brain injury, causing hallucinations while keeping motor function intact, explaining the controlled sprint. Or he might be living under a new identity, with memory loss so severe he no longer knows who he is. Online, the 60-second airport video became legendary, viewed over 30 million times, still haunting viewers as they rewatch the moment Lars breaks into a full panic run, eyes wide with terror. Chapter 7: A door with no return. Nearly a decade has passed. Lars Mittank remains one of Europe's most mysterious missing persons. All that remains is a 60-second video, an abandoned backpack, a question no one can answer. He ran like something no one could see was right behind him. Excerpt from the police report. No one knows what Lars was running from, or if he was running to something, and no one knows if he escaped or was taken. Verified sources: Varna Police, Bulgaria, case file number 2014, VM01. Video behavior analysis by German criminal psychologists. DW documentary, The Disappearance of Lars Mittank, medical and prescription reports from Varna Medical Center, testimonies from hotel staff, doctor, and Lars's mother.
You've just heard a true story, or at least a piece of the truth, but what you just heard might still be happening somewhere out there. This is THN Mystery, where every shadow leaves a trace. Let us know your thoughts on the story, or tell us what you want to hear next. See you again, if you still dare to return.